Alrighty, it is the last day of 2022. Feeling bruised, feeling like we've been through so much this year. I don't know about you, but it's felt long. It's felt incredibly long. It kind of feels like the bull markets feel, same amount of time, but felt a hell of a lot quicker. And this year's just been absolutely incredible when it comes to just everything. We've had big giants fall, we've had so much happening. And I think the big question is the damage done? And is, the new lows, let's talk about possible new lows of the new year. Yes, I agree. But will 2023 be worse than 2022? We're looking at the market of a total of around 85% within the total market cap. And yes, some altcoins are 95%, Bitcoin's down around about 70%, 74% in that sort of region. But now the big question is, what does 2023 bring us? For me, I think slightly boringness. I think it is a time of, yes, a possible new low, and I think a capitulation. I think a part where we get that complete max pain. But I do feel we finished the year stronger than where we start off the beginning of next year. I do think we do actually have a little bit of relaxation and possible new growth. And I'm going to bring you guys the charts to show you all of that. I got fantastic charts here for you guys. I wanted to give you a view that we've been through so much this year. What are the big lessons we've learned this year, and how are we going to rectify and trade throughout next year? I still believe it that next year, this is the true stage of becoming a millionaire, is staying through now. And I think next year is when you actually get those entries, if not already, but the entries that give you those positions that will make you a millionaire in the next 2-3 years. I really, really believe it. I still think crypto's here to stay. I think a lot of fakeness was happening. I think there was so much happening in the background that we were not aware of. I think they needed to be exposed. It happens in an ugly way, but this does happen when the market's going to bear markets. It brings out the truth. And I'm so proud of every single one of you that are still here today. And we have a big year ahead of us. The way I see us making money is being very smart with how we set our portfolio up and what we're building on the long-term time frame. And then what I think is you need to have another portfolio that is going to trade the range and help you build a bigger portfolio. We have two different scenarios. Either you have some more money coming in every month that you're able to dollar cost, which I'll go through shortly, or you don't have any more money. You've put everything in, you've lost a lot, but ultimately, how can we build bigger portfolios so when the big dream run of a bull run comes again, you can prosper? I love you all. I'm so excited to be here. Josh, let's push the sniper song one more time for 2022, and then I'll next. Let's hit it.
Click, click. Have you heard the news? What? With his finger on the pulse, it's like Sheldon knew. Click, click. When the sniper shoots, we got Sheldon on the charts, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. So enter the sniper, click, click, click. Time to be dedicated, sniper mode is activated. Explosions in the market are in target, and Sheldon demonstrates. Mirror, mirror on the wall, Master Sheldon tell us all. We got Sheldon on the charts, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. Enter the sniper, click, click. Enter the sniper.
Yo, Banter fam, if you're brand new, smash a like, smash a subscribe button. If you're part of the family, smash that like, comment, guys, comment lots of how this last year has treated you. I know it's been crazy. It does not matter how much money you have. You still get wrecked in all different levels. For me as well, I'm still way above when I started in crypto. But me myself, taking, I would say, a basic couple $1 million hit in this year, and many lessons learned throughout those times. And it pretty much sucks. I want to explain something, that if you joined and you bought the tops and you came in at higher levels, and then you lost money in the crypto market, it hurts and it sucks. And you're very blessed, because if you stay through and fight through that time, you do have another a bull market. You do have, as long as you learn and you adjust and you move with the market, your time comes again. And all that you're doing is paying for many lessons. And ultimately, from that, you do have another chance to get way above previously. You got to stay committed. You got to push. But what sucks even worse is coming in and making millions or making so much money and then losing it all. Many times in life, they will say you get that shot. You don't ruin that big shot that comes in your life. And that's one of the worst regrets that you can get, is when you come in and you do make so much money and then you lose it all. And the amount of guilt and the amount of times you beat yourself up throughout those times, that really sucks. So I know many of us have been through a crazy war in the last year. But just know that the sun still shines and we are going to have our run again. Just keep pushing through, keep pushing through. Myself as well. Run is probably taking hundreds of millions of dollars of hits in this year. Run. Our man, like the reason why we're all here today and we have this channel, he's taken massive hits. The whole Banter team itself has taken massive hits. But we are here. We don't stop. We've only but been growing in the back end. We've only but been growing in the bear market, and that's why we have Sniper School, guys. Remember, if you are part, join Sniper School. We have the cohort coming up, the world's best crypto trading school, which is free. The way you do get into the school, guys, the cohort now, I think we've got 1,000 spots left. We have up to 4,000 students already. We've got 1,000 spots left. If you go below this video, you'll see our exchange links. And all you need to do to get into the school is be using one of our exchange links. If you do have a pre-existing one with Banter, you have to open one on another exchange. With OKX, with BYBIT, with Binance, and Bitget, and you got to put in $100. And that $100, you can put in what you want, but that is what we're using to start trading and start your actual journey together. So we got this, guys. Anything else? Let me just see. Make sure you're on our Discord, guys. By having our exchange links and being part of that, you do get into our VIP of our Discord. Make sure you're following on Twitter. Make sure you're following everything. I see the world's going crazy right now with Andrew Tate, with all of them. I had a little bit to say yesterday. People didn't like it. I feel we have these big leaders coming in, and I feel we need to try make these guys do good. Like that's the guys that have the voices. Like this world needs help right now. Let's try help as much as we can. Let's jump in, guys. Big show. So first thing we need to have a look at total market cap. Right. Let's get over and done with now what's happened in the bear market, what's happened in the last year. Ultimately, crypto was sitting at a point of $3 trillion market cap, more or less a year ago, just over a year ago, we're sitting at a 3 trillion. Now we got gold that's sitting around 10 to 12 trillion. So ultimately, the future of Bitcoin, a lot of people still believe that Bitcoin, and me myself, will be the gold, the digital gold, and ultimately be on the same level as that at some point. And if that is so, we can look at the future in the next 5 years, 10 years, may it be, that we could still have 4 times the size what we got to in the last bull market in the future to come. Now, we can't deny that crypto is all over the place. It's all sponsorships all over the world. Like everyone's talking about it. Everyone's bleeding. Many of these big companies, as we spoke, like all these tokens, we sit here and say we've lost money. These guys have all lost billions and billions and billions. And some of them are going to sit and remain and build. And those will be the ones that prosper and grow and really have the big growth come in the next 2-3 years. And those are the ones we got to keep staying focused on. Get rid of the crap. We had FTX, we had Luna, we had Celsius, we had many of them that have been shaken out. And those, don't be surprised if we do have many more that do come. I do feel that it is going to hit a stage of one more really squeeze out the market. And this may not be a quick one. This may be something where it really brings max pain, either through continuation of dumping, which I'll show you guys now is not so bad because we've been through so much already, or it's 6 to 9 months of nothing and boredom and any of these sort of things. Now, there's still going to be a range. The market will still move 50% or 30% up and down in that time. But ultimately, Bitcoin can stay between 15 and 18,000 for the next 6 months. If we had to go through historical views and previous times, that's usually what the market does before bull market. It actually just goes sideways for a while. It has one last shakeout. That's why the big topic about is the low in now, are we still going to hit 10K? If we had to follow historical view, would actually go sideways for a while now. 6 months. Then we would have that shakeout drop to the 10K area and then continue. And that's sort of what happened in the last one in 2019, where we basically started to range sideways, sideways, sideways. We then had the March drop off, which matched those previous lows. Very similar to 2018 as well. Sideways, sideways, sideways. Boom, drop completely out of nowhere. Everyone thought accumulation, we're going up from here. One more shakeout. That's where the lows come in. I mean, it's quite interesting to see, is it going to do the same thing? Are we going to hit new lows first at any point? Or are we going to range sideways for a while, make the market think that it's over with, no more of that? Everyone starts to turn quite bullish again. One more shakeout to those levels. But let's actually have a look at some of the charts right now. So the last little bit of hope right now, I do think a small relief little bounce is coming. I don't think it's going to be as big as what we want. But I do think we are going to have these 20-30% bounces at some points out of the market and basically continue to range, because we could see over here off of the previous low, the market did end up going 35% up there. Then it came down another 30%. And ultimately, I won't be surprised to see a 30% move at some point as well. But I do think we're going to range for a while. But let's see where we're at right now. The last little bit of bullish hope we have right now, before we can go through really ugliness, is we do have this previous high over here on the weekly chart on the total market cap. This is taking all crypto as a whole. And currently, we're still holding that. We have not broken that. We haven't even gone below that support just yet. So currently, this support is still holding as we speak. And then what we have after that is we then have the scariness of the next support, and that one showing us around 400 billion. Now, right now, the total market cap sitting around $750 billion, and the next one's around 400 billion. Okay, so you can see that gap's pretty big. Now, if you had to take the percentage, right now we're 75% down from the high. And if we had to take from the high to the next one, it's around 86%. Okay. Now, if we had to have a look quickly at the previous time, the last 2017 bull market, it was quite interesting to see that the low was 80%, 87%. And it's quite crazy to see, if we look back at this chart over here, we can see that this support over here, the one below where we are right now, is around the 87% mark. And if you look at this one over here, from the high of 750, $760 billion in the 2017-2018 run, we did end up making around 87% down to those areas. And if we had to look at us losing the next support and going to the next area, it's around 87%. So it's just a chart that's showing that there is still the possibility of lower lows. There is possibilities of us, still having that next little push to the downside. But then I want to show you this chart, and I want to show you the risk to reward of where we are in crypto right now as it speaks. And this has got to give you, you're going into 2023. You have to take everything from the last year, 2 years now, and you have to get over it first. You have to get over it. Something that I've also struggled with quite a bit, but it's a huge thing for me going to the new year now. Get over, you are where you are right now, and zoom out and remove emotion now and pay attention. Get your shit together and let's make it happen. And if you had to have a look, it does not matter, where we are on the current support right now to the next one. Even if, I'm just giving you an example now, if you've been buying and you've been loading up bags in this area, okay, and it does go down to the lower areas, let's actually look at risk to reward. We all believe in crypto, right? We all think crypto will go back to all-time highs again. And if you had to put the risk to reward ratio tool, as long as you're buying or anywhere in these areas, may it be here, may it be at the lower areas, if we do get there, things can change very quickly. If good news comes out, something happens, we never know on where exactly the bottom will be, but ultimately be realistic of where this is. This is a big buying range and a big opportunity range. And even if the market had to lose another 60%, you have to now take this on a very high time frame view and look at your risk to reward. You have the risk of losing 60% of anywhere you buy right now. The lower you buy, obviously a lot less of the risk. And then you look at the reward. You look at the reward of us going back to all-time highs. Now, we still believe that we'll go higher. We'll get a higher valued Bitcoin than 69K, hopefully 100, 120. Some believe a 500K, some believe $1 million. We will see. And for me, I'm sort of looking at that as like a bonus. A bonus area, bonus reward if we do get to those crazy levels. But I do believe it will go higher than where it did in the last run. Now, if you had to have a look at that, you're looking at around a 64% in this range to the downside of risk, and you're looking at a 300% growth. And if you had to look at just between the two simple colors over here, you could see that the reward way outweighs the risk way right now. And it's just proving to you again that you're at the right stage in the market. Doesn't matter if the market drops another 60%. If the markets do go back to all-time high, which we all believe, this is why we're all here every day and why we commit like that, the reward is way higher. And then what we have above that is we have the potential rewards. We have the potential rewards. I'm not even countering that crypto even goes to gold's level just yet. But I'm saying, gold's around 10, 12 trillion dollars, but here we have 8 trillion. And look at the potential reward after that area we've never been before, an area at some point I think we will go test and we will see where we go. But look at it, look at simplicity that right now you're sitting. Doesn't matter if you buy now, and Bitcoin does go, I'll actually show you, Bitcoin goes to $6,000. Even if you buy now and it goes $6,000, it is still better to be buying in this range than selling. And that's just a big thing for you to understand. Look at the risk to reward, it's huge. And then we have the potential rewards of where we could go after that. I'll actually screenshot this and give this to you guys. Just zoom out and understand where we actually are. Now, let's look at the same thing and correlate that quickly with Bitcoin. And then I'll speak about a few altcoins and these sort of things. I know Solana is a big topic. We'll speak about Solana. Ultimately, total market cap still holding support, but Bitcoin's lost support. Bitcoin's lost the previous all-time high, not looking pretty good. And right now, that previous high, is resistance. It's an area where, people are going to keep offloading, and it's going to be a really hard area to crack. And remember, as soon as we lose a critical floor, it's basically something you stand on, guys. Something that people, that you could see how they try to hold this level. It's a area of comfort. People think that this is a level we're going to hold. As soon as it does drop through that, it now becomes the ceiling. It now becomes the hard area to break through. And what's crazy is, these little levels and these little gaps. Don't tell me why, but don't ask me why, but these are extremely respected when it comes to charts. And as you can see that it will take a lot for Bitcoin to get back above 20K again. Area where we lost, it will take a lot. It's going to take a lot of volume, a lot of good news, maybe even time to accumulate to get through that. But for me, it will take volume to get through that area, and then it will take a lot less volume to get to this area. And that's the craziness. It took this was the area of where all the big volume was needed for Bitcoin in order to create this. This was all hype. This was all greed. This was just FOMO from retail. And it just shows that this was the critical stage for Bitcoin, not this. This is just the reward. This is the easy part that comes with crypto. All the hype and all these sort of things. People are just irresponsible. They just go crazy throughout those times, as all of us have been. And as you could see, that this is going to be the big level at some point for Bitcoin to truly get through. And once it gets through this mess over here, I believe it will be a breeze to get back to these areas over here. And we won't even speak about the higher ones just yet, because I still think 2024 is probably the area where we'll reach that. But as it stands right now, if I look at the Bitcoin chart, we've lost support. And for me, unless we get above and we reclaim 20K quickly, the next one is a higher probability for me. And that's, between the 10 and the 13K sort of area. And that sort of matches when it comes to the monthly charts as well. The monthly chart, if you had to have a look at the closing of the previous bull run, that's showing around 13K. So, that's also giving, we've never tested that. We've never tested that closing area over there support since we had the bull run. So for me, it's just showing again that that's definitely the possibility. Now we do the same thing. We take the risk to reward on Bitcoin. And, look at this. I'm basically showing that Bitcoin can fall to $6,000, $5,800. And the risk is 60%. Where we stand right now, so if you buy now and the risk of 60%, obviously we're trying to have dry powder to take advantage and to buy a lot more when we get to these areas. But even if you are in these areas, look at the reward of up to 300% to the upside. You're still sitting at a 1-to-5 risk to reward ratio. It's still saying buying here and dollar costing anywhere in these areas right now is still way better than selling anything right now and getting out of the market. You're only going to make great money within the future. And then we still have the potential reward, Bitcoin 120. We're not even looking at those crazy levels, maybe even a lot higher than that. But it just shows you again, like this is the part where the millionaires are built. This is where all of them are built. Where you're getting now, it's just incredible. The different views. And here is the monthly, as I showed previously. We have two supports on the monthly. We got one at around 13.8, and we have the next one around 10,000. And unless Bitcoin can reclaim 20K pretty quick, this is still the likely one. Even if we do reclaim 20K, I do think the second scenario plays out. And that's a scenario where Bitcoin goes sideways now for 6 months. And then we have that shakeout, like I explained earlier in the show, where we go test that level. So if we don't hit it now, pretty soon in the next 3 months of the beginning of 2023, I think it's just a simple relief. It may even go to 30, anyway, like that. But then I do still think we come back. And ultimately, what do we want as crypto now? We just want to, for me, I want to get it over and done with. Like, if you're really going to bring max pain, like take us there now, get us over and done with it now. But ultimately, the market may play it differently. It may run it sideways for a while, make everyone calm down, make them believe that it's okay. Markets are going to go up now. One more shakeout, because I know that's what they did in 2018. They ran Bitcoin at around, I think it's $6,000. They ran it around I think it was around 6 months. They ran it sideways, and everyone's like, okay, cool. Like that's the low, that's the low, that's the low. And then they dropped it to 3.8. And then from that, we only started that. So we have the two different roles, but ultimately don't ignore and don't forget that you have two ways to make money in crypto. You have the way of higher time frame investing, and I've explained a lot of that now in the higher time frame. Doesn't matter if Bitcoin goes to 6K from here, anywhere between 6 and 16K, is a huge dollar costing area, and the risk to reward way overweighs the risk. But what you got to still remember is there are different skills, and I'm going to be focusing a lot on trading these ranges and helping us accumulate. And I don't like putting money into crypto, and ever since I've started crypto, I've never put more money into crypto. I've only but traded and basically built. And you could still see that even though the market's been coming down for a while, we still have one of the biggest range markets in the world. And you could see the percentage growth from the ups, of 30-40%. This is on the Bitcoin chart, not even the altcoin charts. 30% drops. You still have an extreme powerful range that you can trade by making dollars when the market is going up and making tokens when the market's going down. And ultimately, your biggest thing that you have to learn throughout this stage of the bear market is you have to learn. It doesn't have to be leverage, non-leverage or anything like that. You have to learn how to long and short. You have to learn that you can make tokens when the market's going down, and you have to learn that you can make dollars when the market's going up. And if you're only a one-directional trader, you're only someone that trades in one direction, just know that you've just now given away half of the year, because half of the 6 months of the year can be going up, 6 months can be going down. And if you can only trade one direction, it means you're trading for a month now for the upside, and then you're off for a month and a half. You shouldn't be trading at all. And then only in that 3 months, like, it starts to become a lot more technical, and it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Even for the bears, the guys that just like shorting, they don't like longing. That's fine. But at some point, the market does turn bullish. And if you're just still stuck in that, you're going to get caught. So you want to learn the skill and go into 2023 that you're basically splitting your portfolios. And what you're doing with those portfolios, you have one that's going to make you wealth over the next 3 years, and you have another one that's going to help you build and grow those portfolios as much as possible, if not even still live on crypto throughout those times. Throughout all of them. And that's what I'm doing exactly. I have a very powerful, strong trading portfolio that I have right now. And the rest I have in for the longer term sort of views. But longing and shorting throughout these things, it's non-leverage. You don't have to leverage or anything like that. But you do make tokens on the way when the market goes down. And if you can make, think about it. If we look at this now, and I'll show you guys this chart over here, the amount of Bitcoin in this range alone, by getting this little top, your RSI, your stochastic RSI gives you the range, on the weekly, it's always giving you the range. There was an opportunity to accumulate 25% more Bitcoin, and then the next one over here, there was a 22% to accumulate more Bitcoin. And think about it. If you started off with one Bitcoin, the value of your Bitcoin is maybe down. But ultimately, out of two trades over here, you would have nearly doubled, or you would have at least, if you had one Bitcoin, you would now have 1.5 Bitcoin. And if this market decides to do this for a while, the similar thing as what it's done previously before, this is a time for you to accumulate, build your Bitcoin portfolio from one Bitcoin to 10 Bitcoin. And then when it's bull market again and it's time to make money again, then you're gonna understand why you accumulated that Bitcoin. And this goes with any token, guys. This goes with Ethereum. It goes with any of the big tokens that you want. I still remind you that when it comes to crypto, just understand the restart of the cycles. Whenever the market's in a critical stage, love always goes back to Bitcoin and Ethereum. So through these stages, it's hard for me looking at that risk to reward to get out of crypto, but getting into the safer crypto assets, as I spoke previously, as in Bitcoin and ETH, makes sense. I'm not getting out of the market, but I'm jumping to the safest. And you can see the market hasn't been so great the last month or so. You can see dominance has been going up. So love always falls back into Bitcoin. It's the holder, the one that brings all the volume for us. So just learn the skills. You don't have to be shaken out of the market, but jump to safer assets when you need to. If you have money coming in every month and you're able to dollar cost, then you are able to buy some altcoins and load them up, at these levels for the next bull run. But a lot of people don't have more money to keep putting in. And when you get to a critical stage where you have to put a stopper on just losing the money, jumping to Bitcoin, ETH, and these sort of things is always the smart. So know that this is a skill that you're going to do many times in your journey. And use this chart as well. The USDT dominance, it's still why I refuse to get all my money into USDT, because I'm accumulating tokens, I'm accumulating Bitcoin, I'm accumulating crypto throughout these times. But if we have a look at the USDT dominance right now, it has been hitting all-time high territory. It has hit a little basic top over here, and right now it's just slowly ranging to the upside. Obviously, if we break this previous high over here, it basically means Bitcoin breaks the low and we go to the next area. And I think this will go up to around 11 to 12%, to get Bitcoin to 14,000, maybe even the $10,000 mark. But use this as a nice little directional mover. This thing, breaks a main trend, as in over here. It's time to long. If it breaks another major, let me show you an example of a previous trend. If it breaks the trend over here, it's time to short, and use this as a nice little indicator to help you guys with everything. Now, let's speak about quickly everything on the shorter time frame and what I'm currently seeing with the market on the smaller time frame, because I do think possible new lows in the next 3 months. Yes, but I do think a small little relief rally is coming as well, a small little push up. Nothing major on the higher time frames to make everything bullish yet, but definitely a little bit of gains for us to make on the shorter time frames. And you could basically see this with Bitcoin as we speak. Right now, it's showing that Bitcoin will probably go sideways for the next week. Don't expect much, probably between, if it does not break the lows, if it obviously breaks the lows and that USDT dominance breaks that top, then we can expect the drop pretty quick. But basically what it's showing here right now is a few more days of sideness, then a possible little push to these areas. We will see either we go to the offload zone again. That's previously where we got rejected. It's the 50-day moving average, these sort of areas. This is where the bigger guys, remember, this was a level we held for so long. And this is an area now where they're going to protect. This is where the bears are going to protect. So, if we get you, I expect rejection a few times in these areas. But this is obviously good growth. This is a good areas of some nice upness in the market, because dominance is going to the upside. When the market turns quite bullish, the dominance should come down and relax a little bit. That means the altcoins will catch up, because the altcoins have obviously been getting a lot more hurt. So for me, Bitcoin pretty much boring right now, but I do think beginning Jan, we're going to have a little bit of opportunity to make some cash. And then I I think after that, we'll have a great shorting opportunity to accumulate more Bitcoin. I think the market's going to range, guys. I really think it's just going to range. And I think we got to trade and look at getting the lows, getting the highs of that range, building dollars, building tokens, building dollars, building tokens, knowing when to go into safer assets and knowing when we're able to spread our wings and get a bit more risk. Now, Ethereum for me, you can currently look over here on the daily. It's basically forming this sort of downwards wedge. Ultimately, it is bearish right now, but it's a bullish pattern that's forming. It's just showing that we are definitely ranging, but we're ranging slowly to the downside, as you can see. And what you can see over here is previously Bitcoin's in like a 20-30% range right now. Look at Ethereum, it's in a 50% to 40% range, where it's giving a 50% growth, a 40% drop, a 50% or 40 to 50% growth, a 40% drop. It's basically doing the same things, and it's slowly just tapering down. So where you can see it is right now, it's sort of in the middle. And for me, because we've already touched the bottom over here, I do think Ethereum will possibly go touch the top first, and then the possible next down to the downside. And this could be that $800, $700, the lows, the capitulation lows after that. But the way I'm tracking that is I do have the shorter time frame trends over here. And you can see that this trend is one that's tracking right now. And it is showing, also, like I said, another few days, 3-4 days. But then for me, it's a nice little opportunity, a nice little opportunity to get to the top of the range, a 14-15%. And then I think after that, you have a huge opportunity to accumulate another 20 to 30% more Ethereum. So ultimately, you look at this chart and you can look at it in two ways. Oh, it's just bearish, it's just going down, just going down. I look at it in two different ways. I'm looking at that I have a potential, maybe until this trend's not broken, maybe it goes down first to test there. Cool. Until my trend line's broken, I'm not cared right now. But ultimately, I can look at giving myself 10 to 50% more dollars, and then I need to prep myself for a next positional move of making another 30% more Ethereum. And ultimately, if I can accumulate, over the next 3 to 6 months, another 100, 200% more Ethereum, plus making slightly, 20, 30, 40% move dollars to the upside through it, that I can do pretty well. And it kind of makes me feel that you can make a lot more money in a ranging market than a bull market. A bull market, everything just goes up and it's really hard to accumulate any tokens. But when you're in a bear market and it's going sideways, you can accumulate tokens. You can't do that in a bull market. So I kind of feel if this thing can go for 6 to 9 months, I'm going to be a lot richer than what I would be if the market just goes to all-time highs right now. So for me, it's like I'm seriously prepping myself strongly over the next 6 to 9 months to accumulate and build a thing, because I was looking at a $50 million. That was my target in the next bull run. If this goes for 6 to 9 months, I'm aiming for $100, $200 million. Like that's ultimately my goal. So I'm not looking at everything as a negative all the time. I'm looking at that if it is going to stay in this range for longer, ultimately it can be a good thing for me and I can get a bigger reward. It does mean I have to dedicate myself for more months and more time, but ultimately my reward gets bigger at the end of the day. And this market always rewards those who are wait and those who are patient and those who actually believe in what the crypto is actually doing. So keep an eye on Ethereum for this over here. And a very simple way of doing this is it will probably go sideways. And once it breaks over here, don't change your strategies. Use your trading journals and ways that you can see how you can tweak your strategies, but it's still the same strategy for me over here. When it breaks that trend over there, the stop loss is under the previous low. You can see because the market's so boring right now, it's not crazy percentages. So it's quite small stop losses, 2-3% stops, and ultimately always keep this risk to reward ratio. I would say in this market, if you're looking to take a trade, try keep your risk to reward ratio above 5. If it's above 5, I think it's worth taking the trade, just because there's no volume right now. And you can see that this simple trade over here is a risk to reward ratio of 1 to 5.7. So that's good. It's a 12% growth to the upside and a 2% to the downside. And if you can consistently keep using the same strategy and build it, as you'll soon see how powerful that is. And then it will reverse, then ultimately after that. So before I show you the reversal, it breaks that trend, stop loss under that low, and my TPs are set at this area over here of around about 1,330, 1,340. That's to make the dollars. And then when we get to those top areas, then my mind shifts, and it doesn't shift into a bad way. It just shifts into, we had a trend now. When this is going up, what it will do is it will form a trend line to the upside. So it'll take a trend to the upside. And when we lose that trend, ultimately I'm entering my short. And what does that mean for spot traders? It means you just sell into dollars. And when Ethereum gets cheaper, you just go buy more Ethereum back because you sold, you got out into your dollars, Ethereum got cheaper, and you're able to buy more Ethereum than what you could have previously. And that's the basic concept of shorting. Or you can use the futures, the leverage platform. Just don't put the 2x or the 3x, just keep it on 1x. And you're able to short the market. But ultimately, after that, do you see how planning your next trade and what you're going to do after that? Now, the reason why it's so powerful to do that is because I'm planning to make dollars here, but ultimately I'm already planning for this move over here. And why that's so important is because it's going to give me an area of where I need to take profits. If I don't know what I'm doing after this move, I'm not going to know where to take profits. And then the greed monster is going to come in me and it's going to try change my mind. It's going to try and make me not take profits at that point. And then I just give it all back, the way I've done it many times before. So ultimately, I'm already prepping what possibility could be my next trade after that. Remember, if this short of you had to get stopped out, it means that we're breaking a long-term trend. It's time to long on a way higher time frame. So it's never afraid of being stopped as long as they're in good critical areas and areas that actually make sense. But I'm already prepping for the next one. And ultimately, the next one for me is when we break that trend, of having a stop outside, 2-3%. That means I'm just risking some of my Ethereum. I've gotten out of Ethereum now. I'm holding dollars. Maybe Ethereum goes more expensive now and it breaks the trend and I must buy it back. It means I lose 2% of the amount of Ethereum that I had. But if the short plays out and it goes to those areas, look at the risk to reward ratio of a 1 to 10. And this ultimately can accumulate, another 27 to 28% more Ethereum for me. So if I had 10 Ethereum, ultimately I'd have 13 Ethereum after this trade. And then, what would happen after something like this is a big drop sideways and then dollar time again. And now all of a sudden, I built myself some more Ethereum throughout this stage over here. And when it's time to make dollars, I've just double compounded. I have more Ethereum than what I had previously. So now I make money on the 1.3 Ethereum, the 13 Ethereum more than the 10. And you'll soon see how it just starts to build really strong. Now, the big ones, so that's Ethereum, guys, how I'm looking at the Ethereum chart. I can make it nice and big here just so you can see it. Very simple. The reason is Ethereum dominance is going up, and I think Ethereum is going to be a great mover. So I'm going to be trading Ethereum quite a bit. Let's speak about the big one, Solana. So Solana obviously, dropped these major supports previously, and now it dropped the next low. And for me, this is still the area. This is only if I got cash, spare cash, but I'm buying for the long time frame, and I believe Solana will survive. I do think they will survive. I don't think they, I hope I'm not wrong, but I do think they will survive. But ultimately, I'm not going to put stupid money in there. But ultimately, $4 to $6 is still my area of what I spoke about a month ago. That this is still the area. Risk to reward is just crazy. If it had to get anywhere back to $100, $150, it may take 5 years, but your gains are incredible. But right now, to buy right now, to even trade it right now, it's too volatile. It's just it's not safe right now. So I won't trade it too much short time frame, but high time frame, I'm definitely waiting for that target. Now the two ones that I'm trading with Ethereum is THETA. THETA is it's a lovely coin for me to trade. I do pretty well with it, and it's a nice token that I like looking at. And this one's forming a nice trend. So any token that's got good volume, and it just looks right, like it makes sense. The chart makes sense. Don't trade a token that doesn't make sense. This one makes sense. It's got a trend line that's coming down over here, and when this trend line breaks over here, it's very simple for me. I put my risk to reward ratio tool. I can see that my stop loss is under the previous low. Remember, if I break that trend, I should not come back in. So it's a 5 to 6% stop. And we go test the next major trend line. And that also has these horizontals over here. So ultimately, that's a 30% reward. And my risk to reward is a 1 to 5. So anywhere above 1 to 5. So this is my next trade that I'm waiting for. I can't short right now. For me, it's I need a coin that's been doing this. So if a coin's been doing this, and then we break that trend over there, cool. Time to short. But other than that, right now the market's doing this. And remember, when the market's going down, it's forming bullish patterns. When the market's going up, it's forming bearish patterns. So when it's going down like this, I'm prepping to see where would the next bullish move be. And the break of this trend is where I'd enter. I put my stop loss and basically run up. And like I said, it will form a trend to the upside. And then when we get here, it could be another huge short, to take us down either back here, which would be 30% more theta that you can accumulate in that stage. Maybe we even capitulate and we go down to the 50 to 30 cent mark. That's where the higher time frame charts come into play, guys. Your weekly, your monthly, these sort of ones, to see on higher time frame, where could the short actually go and how long should I hold the short or how long should I hold the long? Until we are breaking long-term bullish trends, I'm not holding the longs for long, because this is only shorter time frame trends. Until we break the big ones, I'm taking profits. And you can see how I'm already prepping the next trade. So THETA is the next one. And then the one after that is Polkadot, one that's also been getting destroyed quite a bit. And beautiful trend, beautiful trend. Chart makes sense. And I'm waiting for the trend line. And ultimately, once we break the trend over here, stop loss under previous lows, you can see here it's around a 4.7. And then you could see that my TPs are back to these areas over here of around, 5.4 and 5.7. And ultimately, I'm looking at the risk reward ratio being 1 to 5. So there is my reward. We should go slightly higher those areas. I don't care about that. I'm just setting my TPs in. I want the trade to make that certain amount of dollars throughout that time. So this is the next one for me that I'm looking at, 24% growth and a 4% down. Now, guys, I want to sit and say that we have a huge 2023 ahead of us. We may have to trade. We may have to do many different things. It's going to range, but ultimately we got to keep going. And me and myself, I've learned a lot as having an audience. I've learned how to, be responsible with the audience. Like, I've learned a lot throughout these times. So I'm going to better myself to I'm excited for it. I'm not stopping. And like I said, I may make great progress and I may do amazing things, and I also may make mistakes, but I just want to be true and honest with you guys every day and be real in front of camera. And I will be a billionaire before 30. Like, that's my goal. That's what I build in my head. And I just want to do it in front of you guys and show you all the ups and downs throughout this journey. And I know there's going to be thousands that are going to be with us. Join me in Sniper School, guys. Join me in Sniper School, please. I'm teaching. I'm putting my heart out there every day. Have a fantastic New Year's. Spend time with the family. Go kiss them. Go love them. They why we fight hard every day. And I'll see you all next year. Much love, Banter fam.